New Year's Eve at the Happy Beholder. This is your host, not Xanathar. This is Xanathar, but actually, the one that is the owner of the Happy Beholder. His name is Large Luigi. I kid you not. I did not make up that name. And so we're in Spelljammer. I ran Adventure League last night, and so we're doing Spelljammer. If you're doing like kind of homebrew kind of stuff, not homebrew, but like you're doing stuff that fits with the Adventure League profile, but you're writing your own material, you kind of have to do Spelljammer this year, or they really want you to anyway. So there's a map of the Rock of Brawl, which is an inhabitable asteroid. And on this map, in the lower part over here, you can see it says the Happy Beholder right near the docks. So that is a tavern. And the tavern is owned by a beholder who's named Large Luigi. And that's, I represent it here. And actually, these figures, I'm an influencer on Amazon. You can find these on my page, Pittsburgh Pat on Amazon. And so they were cheap too, man. They were like less than $10 for 5 of these metal figures. And look, here's actually 6, I think. Here's Minsk and Boo, who are on the cover of Boo's Astral Menagerie. So like these guys, this is pretty cool. And these are metal. The beholder's like a metal body, but plastic eyes so you can move them around, or eye stalks. Anyway, so here's what I did. I set it up as a New Year's Eve party, and Large Luigi is waiting for people to tell stories. There's a contest. Whoever tells the best story gets a prize, right? So basically what I did was I set it up as a flashback thing. So you're in the bar, the characters are in the bar, and they're like, they can interact with the other people, and there's balloons, and there's confetti, there's streamers, there's people milling about, there's all kinds of crazy looking creatures, inhabitants of like this book. So you got like these little penguin guys that are called Dowars, and you got like astral elves, but you don't know who's who because it's a costume party. So people are dressed up and they're using illusions and all that sort of stuff. So, it's a very festive but chaotic atmosphere. So here's what a Dowar looks like. I know, they're cute. And you actually have to roll a charisma check not to be charmed by them. So I used that mechanic during this whole scenario. So let me tell you, this video might go on for a bit, so maybe I'll break it up into parts. But so anyway, you start at Large Luigi's, right? And Large Luigi, like, he's this big guy. And I always start it, there's a picture of Large Luigi, like looming over a table where there are 2 patrons, these 2 ladies. And here it is. Here's a black and white one that I printed out. And you can see these 2 ladies are here, and Large Luigi's looking down. You can see all these empty tankards on the table. And so what I said is these are 2 Karens who are disputing their check. They're like, no, we didn't have 12. We only had 10. We want to see the manager. And then he shows up. So here's the manager like, yes, can I help you? And, but actually, so he makes sure they pay their check. But that's how I introduced Large Luigi. But Large Luigi actually is a nice guy, and he's kind of got like a falsetto voice. So I play him like like a Jay Leno kind of voice. So I'm like, yes, well, welcome to Large Luigi. Do you want something to drink? I mean, it's nothing. No offense, Jay. It's a lampoon of Jay Leno's voice. So he's like, yeah, because Jay's a big guy, but he has a like small voice. So, so that's the way I played Luigi. Anyway, the characters get to order a drink if they want, that sort of thing. And I did have a mechanic that I was going to use, and I forgot. But if you want to, like, put a little twist on your characters, keep track of what they drink and how many drinks. And if any of them are, like, deleterious, like contain, like, substances that might cause one of their attributes to be changed, make them roll, right? So make them do a constitution check, make them decrease their dexterity by 1, something like that. That's what I was thinking. And I got so caught up in the end game that I forgot that. But anyway, I introduced that. You can do that for your characters a bit. I introduced that. And so they're looking around the room, and one of them tries to interact. For some reason, he was trying to sell cheese. and he was very persuasive. He was a tiefling necromancer, and he was selling this like stinky cheese, and he was convincing people to buy it from him right then and there, and even like Xanathar bought some. So I thought that was kind of clever. Everybody else just kind of enjoyed their cocktails. And of course, Xanathar is, he doesn't have any arms, but he has telekinesis. So he like picks up the shakers and he shakes, the drinks. You see, like you with his mind. So you see all this stuff happen in front of you with no arms. So it's kind of like a little, magic trick, a little entertainment. And so then, and the one guy ordered a beer with like a cage on it. So the cage unravels, the wire, and then it pops off, and then the champagne-like cork comes out, and then a tankard, it pours in, and you put it right down. So anyway, have fun with the color of this scenario. I thought that was a lot of fun. So what I did was basically the Wayne's World flashback. So they start telling a story. So there were 4 players, so I rolled a d4 to see which player would introduce the story. And it's like, remember that time we were on that pirate ship and we had to get that egg? And so it was like, and then they go back into the scenario. And the neat thing about this is these guys were tier 2, so they were pretty powerful. And I told them there was going to be a lot of combat. There were going to be opportunities for social interaction and encounters, but it was mostly going to be combat. So they got to try all their skills, and knowing that this happened in the past. So at the end of that encounter, they would come back to the Happy Beholder and have all of their hit points left and all their skills, so as if they had had a long rest, which they would have in the intervening time. So the first combat scenario that I had for them was this. They're on a ship in wild space. It was a pirate ship. I just started them off right in combat. I didn't explain much. I just said, you're here to get a MacGuffin. And I called it the egg of a solar dragon, right? So so I did that, and then this is clever because later I messed up the name of it, and these guys caught me on it. I might as well tell you now. So at the end, after the battle, these guys they've got it down to the pirate captain and one of his assistants, and they ended up surrendering, and they said, like, tell us where the egg is, and they said, we don't have a solar dragon's egg on board. And the guy says, I didn't say anything about a solar dragon egg. I just said an egg. And so they knew they were lying. So I rolled a check, and they won the players won the check. So they gave away the location of the egg and that sort of thing. So I thought that was pretty clever. So that was a social interaction. But they're in combat, and I basically had a map. And if you guys want me to, I can get out the map and I can show you the scenario. But for right now, I'll just tell you. So Theater of the Mind, it was a roundish ship. It was like a turtle ship. If you look in the book, they talk about like different kinds of ships. I think it's in this one. Yeah, the Astral Adventurer's Guide. And the one that I used was shaped kind of like a tortoise. So it was like that kind of shape. Because I had a map that one of my 9-year-old students, I teach D&D after school, one of the students, and get paid for it, which is like awesome. So yeah, he drew this map, and I've ever since had that on. It's a roll-up mat, erasable, dry erase. And actually you can go, again, on my Amazon page, Pittsburgh Pat Influence page, and look for the D&D section. It has all this stuff in there. And I might put it in the description box below. Why not? If you guys click on it and buy something, even if you don't buy one of those, you buy something else. If you click through there, I think I'll make a couple pennies. So thanks for supporting the channel. So yeah. So anyway, I had that map, and I have the little figurines. So we put them around the map, and they had like about 6 guys that they were going up against. But those were the vampirates, and I'll show you the vampirates. But while I look for that, actually that should be easy to find because I kept my bookmarks in here. Here's what vampirates look like, right? So I had 6. I had the captain, I had a mage, and I had the regular vampirates. So here's the stat block for the regular vampirates. Here's the stat block for the captain, and here's one for the mage. And the mage ended up being really tough. And the captain was pretty tough too. So I had a spellcaster, an archer, I had a couple melee guys, and I had the captain. And so it gave them a variety of targets to try to like figure out. So they had to do strategy. So they figured, okay, we're gonna take out the range guys first. Turns out they missed on their first tries. They just rolled bad. And the new dice my fellow DM gave me as a gift, they rolled like 1s and 20s all night. It was crazy. It was either one or the other. And which is kind of cool. I'd like to invent a die that has like just 20-sided die for the heck of it. Somebody's probably already done it. Well, the Fate system has that kind of stuff, I think. Anyway, you guys can talk all about that in the comments below and how wrong I am. But, or if you've seen these before, let me know so I can like link it and buy them and give somebody some credit. So, yeah, so the vampirates were their main objective, but I also had some color in there. What they had done is they had, unbeknownst to them, they had interrupted a negotiation with some Dowars, which were the little penguin guys, right? So the Dowars are in there, okay, these penguin guys, but they're riding these space pigs, basically. Pigs in space. So they were riding... Where are you here? Space clown, space eel, space guppy. Here, space swine, flying pigs. Those are their mounts, right? So here's and let me just read a little bit of the description to you because this is awesome. So it says here, space swine are winged, a species of winged boar bred by Dowars. For a variety of uses, they can serve as mounts. They can make fine crackers and beasts of burden. It says they are the ones that are trained for battle are outfitted with half plate and are referred to as death squealers. I like that, death squealers. So it says a fully grown one's 3 feet tall, 5 to 6 feet long. They eat just about anything, but they prefer truffles. If you guys don't know, don't get that joke, put it in the comments. I'll explain the joke. Okay, and then it says, this is the best part. A space swine also tastes delicious when roasted and served with applesauce. So I had to tell them that too. But anyway, there were these penguins on top of flying pigs off the side of the ship. There were a couple of them, and I didn't tell them they weren't enemies, right? So anyway, the battle ensues, and at some point during the battle, there's all kinds of crazy stuff happens. One of the guys rolls a crit one of the enemies, so I have him break his crossbow string, and then I know there's no crit failures, but I like crit failures in Adventure League and D&D 5e. So, or are there? You tell me. And then how you play. So anyway, there's that. These guys have like lightning. They can, the players, they're casting lightning bolt in like in straight lines and taking out guys. One guy uses Scorching Ray, and he like shoots multiple Scorching Rays. He's a sorcerer, and so he uses his sorcery points for multiple attacks. And then he hits a couple guys, and then he turns and he looks at the penguins. And I said, make a charisma wisdom saving throw against their charisma DC 11. And one of them he succeeds, and one of them he fails. I said, so you're looking at the one, and you're like, okay, that's an enemy. I'm going to kill it. And you look at the other one, you're like, oh, it's a little penguin. It was like flying on a little flying pig. He's so cute. So I said, you're charmed by that. You have no desire to attack that. And anyway, at that point, a couple of guys had fallen, a couple of vampirates. So I had the Dowar like turn tail and run. But it was cool that like they interacted with them, and that could have gotten a little hairy, and they could have like declared war on the Dowars, which might have affected what happened in the bar later, since there were Dowars, and Dowars talk. They have a lot of memory, and they're telepathic, so maybe they may have recognized the adventurers or something like that. You could use that twist later, have consequences, right, for their actions. So they get into the battle. They kill everybody but two, the pirate captain and the mage. They corner them. These guys like throw their weapons down. They say, what do you want? what do you want? And they say, we want this egg, and what I told you before. They interrogate them. They belie the location of it. They look at the capstan. The capstan moves aside. There's a small room in there, and they grab this glowing object. It glows reddish orange from the inside. It's warm to the touch, and it has scales on it, these golden, fiery red scales. But I didn't tell them what it did or give them a value on it, so they have this object now. And in Adventure League, every player gets one. So there's 4 of these running around now, and I haven't decided what to do about it yet. I didn't give them the money or the value of it. They're going to have to figure out what to do. And that was the end of that. So then they went, and they go back to the tavern, right? So they're in the tavern, and the second one was in a cave. The second encounter I had them talk about was in the cave. Oh, by the way, in the meantime, the Happy Beholder is very impressed, and he's like, oh, did you guys want another drink? Blah, 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 blah. So they all have another drink, which should have triggered me to make those ability checks later. But like I said, I forgot. So I'm definitely, when I write the module up, I'm definitely going to have that. So the second one, they were in a cave, and they were on an asteroid, and they were supposed to retrieve a sword of impending doom with several O's. And so that's all the setup was. And they go through this narrow, lava tube, and it breaks out into this huge room, like a magma, chamber. And all of and they made it so they were single file. So all the main character could see, and he had dark vision, so that just lucked out for them. There was a ray of light coming through, and there was a chest, and there were stalagmites and stalactites. And he had the awareness to look for traps. So there were depressions in the ground, which were pit traps, which those guys did not trigger, which is fine. I don't mind if people don't, if they're smart and they go, I don't have to make somebody fall in a trap. But if they didn't check, somebody was going to fall into a pit trap. So anyway, they start into the room and they walk around them. And while they're paying attention to the floor, on the ceiling is hanging a roper. And a roper is in the monsters manual. If you haven't used a roper before, it's perfect for a party of 4, because in the description, it says it has 4 tendrils, and it can attack with those on each round, right? 4 times. So this is what a roper looks like. This is a stalagmite roper, but you can imagine it as a stalactite, right? You have to turn it upside down. So this is what they were facing. So it threw 4 tendrils at them, grabbed. Everybody succeeded on their saving throws, which was amazing because it's a DC 15 dexterity save. But these guys were very dexterous. They were high-level characters, between 5 and 8. I'm sorry. The Necromancer was level 9. 1, 5, 2 8s, and a 9. So it turns out these guys saved, except for one, the cleric. He doesn't save. So he's being pulled. But he's just out of the 25-foot range of the pull to get back. And so there was the chest, right? Well, naturally, the chest is a mimic. And if you guys haven't used this before, this is a DM thing. A lot of DMs have used this. A mimic and a roper, because the roper will pull the character that's caught in the tendril towards the mimic, and then the mimic will bite, right? So that's a classic monster combination. Symbiosis, right? So, but what happened was the druid cast, I forget the name of the spell, but it was basically a column of earth that was 20 feet, and he could raise it up 20 feet. So he did. And it pushed the mimic up before it could attack, and also trapped the roper to the ceiling, which was only 11 feet high. I rolled for the distance of the height of the ceiling. And so there's the roper and the mimic are smashed up there, and they're trapped. So the players are able to incapacitate them, attack them without them being able to respond much. And they do some pretty good damage on it. One guy casts fireball or lightning bolt. I mean, it was ridiculous. But then the cleric does a check for, I'm sorry, the sorcerer does a check for invisible monsters. See, anything invisible, he casts a spell, he would be able to perceive. So I had a Nothic. Oh, I didn't show you the mimic. I guess you guys, I mean, if you're a D&D person, you probably know what a mimic is. I mean, that's a mimic. So that's pretty classic. In fact, they sell like dice boxes that look like mimics. One of the kids that comes with her father for Adventure League has one, and it's pretty cool. But I had a Nothic in the corner. And Nothic's very stealthy, and so I thought it would be appropriate. And I thought about adding it, so I had the page marked. But Nothics are kind of creepy looking things. They have like spikes on their back, and they only got one head, and they got claws. And I had that standing in the corner, and it was holding a sword. Just holding it. And I said, it's a nondescript sword, but it looks very well made and very clean. And it was a +1 sword. That's what I gave him. Sword of Doom. But anyway, he kind of hands it out, holds it out, and very cautiously the sorcerer comes up to him. And as he does, he kind of holds it out for him to take. And then he retreats into the darkness. So they get a +1 sword, and the adventure is over, or that section is over. So I thought that worked out pretty well. So the first one was 3 types of combatants. Actually 4. You had regular vampire archers, regular vampire melee, vampire mage, and vampire captain. The second one, you had a roper and a mimic. And then the Nothic did not attack, and I didn't think he was going to unless he got attacked. And then that would have been a bad move for them because there's a bunch of stuff the Nothic can do. He has like this really weird ability actually where he can like get a secret from you, but he has a rotting gaze, and his claws aren't too exciting. You don't want to be on the receiving end of those claws. All right, so they go back after they're done telling the story, and they're back in the tavern, right? So they're back with Large Luigi again, and he's like, oh, this is a very good story. Oh, by the way, it's almost midnight. So I had them count down from 10 to midnight. So we're going 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. And these guys are like counting with me now. 3, 2, and then you hear a gunshot and a large eruption of noise, and somebody say, this is a robbery! Everybody put your weapons on the ground and get on the ground. And so it turns out that some of the balloons that were like part of the decoration turn into, they metamorph, or they, whatever you want to call it, into polymorph into space clowns. These clowns right here. So I had 3 space clowns, and then in the one corner there's a Dowar, one of the penguins, and the penguin's got a gun too. So I had them all like ranged weapon guys, and they all have this gun. And here's what's really cool about it. It only happened once, but it was really funny. And unfortunately, it kept happening to the sorcerer. All the bad things happened to the sorcerer during this game. But he was a good sport about it. And he's like a really good rules guy. Like, I appreciate Julian because he knows the rules, so he'll correct me on stuff if I'm wrong. And I love it because I'm learning. So they have a couple different attacks. The ray gun that I told you about is a ranged attack. It's psychic damage, but if you roll lower than a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw, the target perceives everything it sees and hears as hilariously funny and is incapacitated for 1 minute. And then at the end of each of its turns, it can end the effect if it rolls a success. And that was great because I love Tasha's Hideous Laughter, and this was like a way to deliver that with the clown guns. And these guys squeak when they walk. So like one guy like pulled them towards him or something, and he was like, "Meek, meek, meek, squeak, squeak, squeak." And it also had the gun squeak. So when the guns fire, they go like a horn, you know, like a Harpo Marx's horn. So and then they have a shock. So they have like basically shock and grab. But the way that I did it was like a hand buzzer, so there's like, like those toy hand buzzers. So So yeah, so I had a lot of fun with it. Oh, by the way, so when they were shooting at all these guys, the Dowar, the guy saved against being charmed by the Dowar. But at one point, the Dowar was like, I said everybody on the ground. And he's like, and those guys loved the picture of like a little penguin, like being really mad with like a multi-shot gun doing that. But what happened was it was in disguise. So it wasn't a Dowar. It was an illusion that was cast by a GIF. And if you don't know what a GIF is, this is why this is so much fun. Spelljammer, because they have these crazy monsters. It's a hippopotamus with a blunderbuss, right? So, yeah. So anyway, it comes down again, like a couple of guys surrender and throw down their weapons because they get reduced to 0. 2 guys are dead. So how I wrapped it up was Large Luigi, of course, is very grateful. The authorities come. They have to answer questions about this sort of thing. Large Luigi, like, obviously, like, vouches for everyone. But he also, while that's going on, he takes down a 1,000 gold piece bowl. It's gem encrusted and throws it in the kitchen. And those of you who know the spell will know what's coming. And what he does for all of his patrons and for the heroes, adventurers that saved his bar, is he gives them a hero's feast. And so they have a hero's feast. And if you haven't seen that spell, it's awesome. It's like a 12-course meal with all the stuff that you can eat and drink that you love. And it gives you buffs and it makes you, gives you temporary hit points, all kinds of crazy stuff. But, and he also gives them a prize. And I just picked one from a different Adventure League module that I like because I'm learning quarterstaff. And so I picked the Woodland Staff. And so because I'm actually taking quarterstaff fighting lessons, stage fighting lessons, I decided to do that. So they got a staff. And the Woodland Staff has charges with spells, and it also is a +2 spell casting, gives you +2 to spell casting, and it's a +2 weapon to hit. That is a powerful reward. And then they're like, do we get any gold? And I'm like, I just gave you a +2 weapon with like magical abilities and spells. Sheesh, guys. These two guys. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I didn't give him any gold. But I did give him the solar dragon egg after thinking about it. Because it's enigmatic. Nobody knows what it does. Anyway, this video is going on long enough, and I got to go meet a business person for lunch. And so I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions about the scenario, let me know. If you have any recommendations or like ideas about what to do, tell me, please, in the comments, what I can add, subtract, make it better, because I am going to try to write this one up, I think, for DM's Guild. And I'll sell it for the minimum that they'll let me sell it for, because I don't think you're going to make any money off it. But it'd be nice to like have some people out there read your work and appreciate it and use it. So, all right. This, of course, is free, what I do here. So the best way you can support me is just like the video. Hit me with a subscription. Talk to me on the comments. I answer all the comments except for the rude ones. And, I don't mind criticism. Criticism helps me. But I don't tolerate non-family friendly stuff, because I got a lot of family kind of people that like watch these channels, and my family watches this channel, and I want to keep it clean. Anyway, or you can like click on one of the links, go to Amazon, buy yourself some of these little figurines or something like that. Like I said, you buy this, I might make like 10 cents. I have no idea. It doesn't cost you anything more. It's just they give me a finder's fee for like sending you there. So, all right. I hope you guys have a great day. I love you guys. Take care. See you on the next one. If you like these stories, I'll tell more because I'm doing this. But you got to tell me, because these things take time and editing, and I don't want to edit. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.